What up, big time gang? Welcome back to another Tell Me Big Time video. This one is the homie Darnell DURRAH's watch. He was kind enough to send this in for a battery change, and I've never done one on this. So we are going to learn together. So if you're interested, this is model 10008 Invicta Reserve Russian Diver. And we're going to be dissecting this watch and getting to the battery. Stay tuned. All right, so this is a unique watch, to say the least. Darnell sent me a picture of it a couple weeks back. I looked at the case back and I said, I have no idea. So I spoke to John, the phone guy, over the phone the other day. I've looked at this watch multiple times. I have not attempted to do anything to it yet. So one thing I did notice is that these screws here, the tool to remove those screws is right here on the actual canteen covering the crown. Now, this is a very unique watch where the bezel actually loosens and tightens the chain here on the watch. So we'll get into that in a second. But you see that nub there goes right into this system here. So you just stick the canteen in there, and we'll do that now. And you can change the strap, put a bracelet on. This watch originally came with a poly band, and it has been switched out either by Darnell or somebody else. But see, to get the chain more slack, you twist the bezel. You see that there? And then you can actually adjust, tighten and loosen the bolts with the canteen. So that's a cool feature. Now I'm going to wind the canteen back up. And then you can see here, there's a cutout right there. You see that? So once you put the canteen back on, you can no longer rotate the bezel. So very cool feature. I've never seen anything like this on the watch, and I have seen this watch before, but just not in person. So I thought it was very unique, and I'd like to share that with you guys for sure. So that's the crown protector, the canteen, I call it. But then we've got this unique design on the case. So you see here, the lugs come up to the bezel, but are not connected. Obviously the bezel spins freely. And then you've got this completely solid bottom case design with 5 screws in it, which I'm assuming these 5 screws are how I get to the battery. So you've got a solid case. There is no break in this part. So the lugs and the bottom of the case are all one piece. And after speaking to John, I think this disconnects here from where you see that stainless steel right above this bottom layer of the case. That pops off, and then we have access to the battery. So this is going to be a learning experience for me, probably a learning experience for you. And hopefully we're successful and we get Darnell's battery changed and we're good to go. So without further ado, let's get into it. I've already got my screwdriver out. It's ready to go. I'm going to start just at a random screw. There's 5 here. Now I'm using a screwdriver that's nice and bulky, where you handle it at, but has adjustable tips of different sizes, and that makes it a little more easy to work with, especially because I have bigger hands, and the tiny screwdrivers get to be a pain in the butt when you're handling something so thin. So these screws are very loose, not tight at all. I mean, I'm not saying they're loose like they're gonna fall out, but they're not like super hard to break loose. Okay, let's see what happens here. So I still have 1 or 2 that are a little snug. So right now I'm picking up where the strap connects to the watch. This bottom piece of the cover here. I feel like I've got one screw still holding on. I'm not sure which one it is, but I feel a lot of resistance still. But it does feel loose, which is good. Okay, not sure why I'm binding up. But I am definitely binding up. So we're going to continue to loosen these screws and see if I get any difference in the resistance. There we go. Wow. So just as John and I suspected, there it is. There's the battery, the plastic internal cover. Pretty straightforward, actually. A lot less complicated than I thought it was going to be. So there is no screw back case back. That's why it's only 100 meter water resistant. So basically it's saying it's splash proof, but nothing else. So it's not a dive rated watch. You know, you're not going to submerge this in water because there is no gasket and there's no screw back case back. It's just 5 screws holding this onto the watch. So very cool. Now we're going to open this up and see what battery it takes. There actually is a gasket, so I don't want to drop the screws out. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and show you underneath of this case. So you can see there's a gasket. Kind of sits around that ring. Pretty cool. Definitely a unique design. But anyway, let's get into this battery change. First thing we want to do is remove this plastic cover. So let's go RENATA 399. All I've got to do is loosen that one screw there and remove that little cover, or slide that little cover out of the way, and then pop the new battery back in. Pretty simple. Okay, so I'm getting out my little tiny screwdriver now. Just loosen that ever so slightly. Now you see I've popped it loose. Battery is now accessible. We are going to pull the battery out like so. No corrosion that I see, which is good, which means once we replace the battery it should work. And there you go, RENATA 399. And I just so happen to have that battery already on deck. So there we go. SR927W. Same exact battery that we took out, we're gonna put back in, but this one's gonna be a fresh battery where the other one was dead. New battery is back in. Now I am going to attempt to get the battery placed properly and seated and then get this back under the screw like that. And then we're going to tighten the screw back down like so. And we are good to go. So there it is, new battery. Let's make sure it's ticking. Yep, see it right there, ticking. So we're golden. So now I want to pay very close attention to where the holes are at for this case back. So I think it goes this way, like this. Like this. Yep, like that. So if we match these up, that's the way it's going to go back on. And then now we're going to put this plastic retainer back in. Make sure you line it with the crown stem so that you don't damage the crown stem. And now we're going right back on the watch. Now the chain's giving me a hassle. I'm going to try to tighten it up around where the lugs go. So I removed the canteen and kind of tightened the chain up to see if that'll help me get over this chain without binding up on it. This chain is throwing a big kink in the whole operation here. Okay, so now we just gotta tighten the screws up. I'm gonna do it kind of like you would do like a wheel on a car, where you you know, you kind of tighten in a pattern, crisscross, opposite ends. So first of all, I'm just gonna get them all a little tight, and then go back and give it like one little quarter turn and make sure that we are snug enough. Okay. So very cool watch. I mean, I had no idea what to expect because I've never worked on this watch before, dealt with this. So very cool. I hope you guys learned a little something, because I sure as the heck did. And now we know, right? So the caliber on this movement is 8176/2050, and then the battery size is a RENATA 399. Put this canteen back on. We're still ticking. Or I should make sure this whole thing works the way it's supposed to. Nothing's binding up. So yeah, chain pulls out. Now I can simply tighten the chain by turning the bezel. You guys see that? Super cool. I think that's awesome. The way that design is super neat. So now we gotta align the bezel opening for the crown. There. Screw the crown canteen back on. And now you can't move the bezel because it's locked with that notch. But yeah, we're good to go. Appreciate the opportunity, Darnell. I think it was a learning experience for a lot of us on here on YouTube, especially, and in the Invicta family community. You know, something new is always awesome. I was a little sketched out to mess with it when I actually received the watch from you, and I opened up the package and saw that this was one solid piece, because the pictures you sent me, I knew I'd never seen the case back before, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And when I saw this all one piece and solid, I was like, uh-oh. But me and John, the phone guy, talked, and he had a similar conclusion that I was coming to, which was that this bezel and case there where the chain's at was separate from the big case back. And we were both right. So I'll give the credit to John. He gave me the confidence to go ahead and do it, because I was a little scared and I might not have even done it, because the last thing I want to do is damage somebody else's watch. But we're all back together. No catastrophes here. Everything's good to go. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. I'll have a few photos of this beautiful watch. As always, make sure you smash that subscribe button, drop a comment, hit that like button, let me know you're watching, and turn that bell notification on to all. Appreciate you guys. Big time gang. We out. God bless.